social media, we used to advertise earlier, right? We used to advertise quite a bit on Facebook in terms of getting the likes. Now there are two ways a brand can increase its reach. One is obviously advertising. The second is strong content. Now strong content is important because given a startup, if you're a startup, you won't have big budgets. But it does not mean that you cannot build a fan base without advertising. So we took a conscious decision that Facebook or any other social media, we advertise only if necessary. So we started working on virals. I mean, you cannot define a viral. It just happens. It's like happens like something like that. But it has worked well for us. If you look at the graphics that we've come up with for Facebook, they have gone up to like 2,500 shares in the last 3 months. One graphic went to like 1,000 shares recently. What has happened as a result is that we are adding pretty much 1,500 to 2,000 likes on Facebook every week without advertising at all. That's, I think, from what I've seen over the last 2 years, that's a huge number for an organic growth in terms of a fan base. And similar to Twitter as well, based on the engagement that we have done, it's resulted in a growth without actually spending any money. Now, if this can be achieved, it's something that we need to do on a constant basis, or at least try to do it. And I'm not saying that, a viral, like every graphic that you post can become viral. You can never take a call on that. But for example, there was Ganesh Chaturthi, right? So do we just post a photo of, it's a call between two, do you just post a photo of, say, Lord Ganesha and say wish Ganesh Chaturthi, or like do you try to build a story around food, let's say, because and build a context around that, and post an image which people might share more, and it's sort of fun as well. A user should look at the page and he should enjoy browsing through the content. And that's always the thought process. We want to break the clutter because there are a lot of brands which are doing the same thing over there. So one way to break the clutter is think of something that's related to your brand, which is, for us, in our case, it's food. And definitely humor is, I'd say, like, for any social media manager, humor is a must. It helps quite a bit in terms of just, being... On social media, most people browse photos, it's like 9gag and those things are famous, right? So a bit of humor does help. So it's like a bit of fun, bit of humor, but add a context of food around that, and you give out a message related to that, and we've seen that over time it works. And like people enjoy reading it, our fans find that, okay, fine, our content is not just plain within wishing, let's say, on some occasion, like most of the brands just come out with the same message which says, okay, fine, happy X day or something like that. But here the content is something more which people can, even take a post. Like I have taken posters of like 3-4 and put it up in my room. So we always think, okay, can something be done more around a post which will break the clutter of a news feed, or say even on Twitter. So that's the main approach to say, when it comes to content. And as a last resort, we keep, okay, fine. The last resort is that you just wish because, okay, fine, you want to wish your fan following. But, the main thing is keep, your fans are following you for a reason. They expect, some say like, if I follow a lot of pages, right? Like if all of them are communicating the same message, I'd really not, my newsfeed would look pretty bland. So, if I'm following some page, I'd expect them to take an effort to give some content which I would browse through. So that's generally the mentality that we, always follow. And, on every post, we spend quite an amount of time thinking of what can be done. Will this, does this make sense versus say A versus B? And we have like 2-3 ideas on every concept, so that's how it works. We've tried crowdsourcing with a couple of campaigns actually. The first one was we ran a Bloggers Your Feedback contest last year as well. It's running right now too. And gave us a great response. I mean, in terms of just what we had to focus on, in terms of moving ahead, what features we should focus on. We heard a lot of things from our users, and we, at that point, we decided, okay, fine, for that format, the crowdsourcing worked. Now with TVC, we took a risk. We didn't know that it would work out so well. The main thing was the barrier to entry, right? For a TVC, creating a video is never easy. So the barrier to entry was quite high. So we didn't know how many responses we'd get. Frankly, I never expected we'd get 90 video submissions. So, but we kept the incentive also equally large, so that because it's quite a bit of effort to actually come up with a video. And we've tried out videos ourselves. It requires more than a day's effort to just think through concept, and execution itself is a day's effort. So we decided the reward has to be significantly high because the effort involved is quite huge. And once we launched the campaign, we tried to push from our end itself, reach out to say like the agencies who we knew, ask them to pass on pass the information on to the contacts, and it was up by quite a few agencies themselves. They said, okay, fine, here's the creative brief, okay, we'll be working on it, and they wanted more info. So we realized that, okay, fine, people are actually working on it. So we started getting submissions 2-3 weeks after we had launched it, which was a bit of concern initially. We didn't know whether we get any results or not, but it worked for us. So we had like 90 submissions. We shortlisted 7 of them for the next round, and we selected 1 out of them, which we ran over the last 4 months. So for us, crowdsourcing, I mean, it does form a very effective way to go about, thinking about any campaign, which we want to run, because that we've seen even with bloggers your feedback and TVC, there's one thing that you have so many things on your head, on my plate, if I'm working on X number of things, I might think on solving a problem in one way, but there may be other solutions which crowdsourcing pretty much opens up, that option. So, like for example, the TVC, right? Like we had around 10 ideas which we thought were good ideas, right? But then we received these 90 submissions, of which we realized, okay, our ideas might not have been good, like looking at all the submissions that we received. So crowdsourcing, I think, is always a good option. There's always a thing that you need not necessarily go ahead with the final output. I mean, definitely you don't have to commit to say if the end product is going to be bad, it does not mean you have to go ahead with it. But it is definitely worth a shot, and I'd say specifically like for startups, crowdsourcing is something that they should definitely try. Like we say, like for our Instagram contest or the user-generated content, right? We receive quite a few responses, and they're pretty high-quality responses that we receive. In terms of TVC campaign, receiving 90 submissions for a TVC is, I think, a humongous response when it comes to crowdsourcing, and the quality that was of the shortlisted entries was pretty good. And similarly with the bloggers, your feedback, we've received some amazing feedback right now, and we put it on a whiteboard in terms of what we need to work next on. Some of the suggestions, we've been working, our tech team has been working on quite a few things, but despite that, we've missed out a few key suggestions, and all of this helps us make our product better. And even market, say like crowdsourcing is a good way to market your product as well. People talk about it, okay, fine, user-generated content, but users also consume that. So it works both ways. And yeah, definitely I'd recommend crowdsourcing to be included, whenever you think of a campaign. Definitely. Social media forms a major component for us. I mean, just because we are a consumer-facing portal, so every day, and it's all about food, right? Like food is consumed every day, and people go to restaurants pretty much regularly within a week, and they're always talking about food. So when it comes to social media, the focus is one is like you need to be there to listen to your consumers, right? And they're always there trying to reach out to you for help, and you need to be there whenever possible because you built the product for them. And second thing is that social media is the place. Even if you see going ahead, right? There are three things which matter. Which is one is local, is a keyword, and then there's mobile, and then there's social. These are the three things which I think are the hottest things going to be in say the next 1 or 2 years, and social forms an important part of it. For us, the main thing is going to be how do we've gone now global right now. We've moved into UAE. We'll be moving into a couple more cities within this year itself. And 2013, I don't know where we'll be right now, but hopefully in a few more countries. The strategy that has worked for us in India may or may not work abroad. So we'll have to think on, okay, fine, how do we, as a brand, go ahead on social media if we're present, say, like in 5 countries, so what's the strategy going to be? Is it going to be different? How the team structure is going to be, etc. Like right from scratch, we'd have to think on, how do we build our presence in other geographies? But definitely it's going to form a major part. For us, we are talked about mostly, when you look at, say, Quora or something, right? Like the followers and the people actually asking questions is increasing day by day. It's not like it stagnated over time or it's declining. The trend is rising and it's like exponential when it comes to Twitter as well or Facebook in terms of the engagement. So we're gonna see more of that happening over the next year. And of course, like we've just launched the foodie network on Zomato, so that will take shape even more as we move ahead in terms of you interacting with other foodies on the website. One thing is that we might add, say, something like a forum where you can ask questions to other users, and users recommend places. So mostly what happens on Twitter is like you ask questions to what are the best places, say in Chinese at like 10 in the night in Bandra West or something like that. So we can move that onto Zomato, sort of like a forum can be plugged in. So it will definitely form a major part. Social is the way to go, and apart from that, local and mobile is also going to be the key terms.
Good to hear that, Pramod. All the very best to you, to Zomato, and hopefully we'll catch up sometime at the end of 2013 to know your international strategies and how the international social media for Zomato has worked.
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Pramod, and thank you very much for your time.
Thanks a lot.